Hi, hello everyone, my name is Maria and I'm doing a Masters in Anthropology at the University of Bristol. I am 23 years old and I was born in Spain, but I've been living in the UK for the past 6 years. So I've got two big passions in my life. One is anthropology and the other one is pottery. And currently I'm doing pottery as a part-time thing, but when I finish my Masters I would love to become a potter and make it a full-time job. However, I've always had this desire to work towards a bettering of society, and I've always wanted to, as well as being an artist and do creative work, I've always wanted to also have some sort of say and some sort of contribution to society to improve the place we live in. And this is precisely why I chose to do my Masters at Bristol, because it's teaching me skills and ways of understanding the world, ways of thinking. It's going to be really, really helpful for me to access the type of jobs and the type of careers that will enable me to help society. So my Masters, I'm learning how to understand people, how to understand culture, and as we're going to see together in this activity, analysis and understanding people is a very, very important part of creating. It's important because it helps us to create in a mindful way and in a useful way, in a way that's going to serve others and it's going to serve the community. In the following activity, we're going to be looking at analysis and why it's so important if we want to connect with people and to understand why they make the choices they make. Okay, so for this exercise, you're going to be given some plasticine and your task will be to craft something. Specifically, you're going to be asked to create a dish and something to eat it with, okay? So again, your task is going to be to create a dish and something to eat it with. We will split the group into two teams, Team A and Team B, and your teacher will now give you a handout with a specific task for each group. So each individual group will get their own task and you will have to keep this one secret from the other group. Right, so now both teams know the task. You will be given 15 minutes to create your dishes. And I want you to remember what your task is and to keep in mind that the object fulfills this task, all right? So if you're all ready, the time starts now. Cool, so now the time is over, I'm gonna ask you to find a partner in the other group and swap your creations with them, okay? So find someone else in the other group and just swap both of your creations. So now you've got a new creation in front of you, I would like you to, as a team, analyze the new objects. I would like you to focus on the design features of the objects. This means that as a team, you will be pointing out the difference between these new dishes and the ones you made. So an example for this could be, this dish is much deeper than the one I made. Or for example, this dish comes with a fork instead of a spoon. All right, so important here is that you spot the differences between the dishes that you have made and the new ones. All right, so if you're all ready, you will have 3 minutes to do this and the time starts now. Right, so now the time is over. Each team will get a round of questions. We will start with Team A. So Team A, you can now have 3 minutes to ask Team B any yes or no question on their creations. Your aim will be to try and find out for what type of person these dishes were created for, okay? So I want you to remember that the questions can only be answered with yes or no, all right? So if you're all ready, then you've got 3 minutes and the time starts now. All right, so the time is over and Team A, you can now have a go and try and guess what Team B's task was. So if you didn't guess it correctly, Team B can now reveal what the task was. So So now we're just going to do the same thing the other way around. So Team B, you will now get 3 minutes to ask Team A any sort of yes or no question, all right? So if you're ready, the time starts now. Time is up and Team B can now have the guess. So Team B, for whom do you think Team A's dishes were made for? Alright, so if Team B didn't guess that correctly, Team A can now reveal the task. Okay, so after this quick question game, we're gonna have a reflection session and a bit of discussion. So the first question I have for you guys is, how close were you of guessing the other team's creation? How close were you of guessing their task correctly? Cool, so the next question for you guys is to think about what was hard in the process. I would like you to discuss what you found difficult, and I would love for you to think about why you found it difficult. So next thing I want you to think about is, when did the game of guessing become easier? When did you guys feel like you were going somewhere with the guessing? Okay, so one final question for you guys. I would like you to discuss a bit how you felt when the other team was trying to guess your creations. Okay, so when the other team was asking questions, what sort of feelings were going on within you? Alright, so just to wrap up, let's just have a quick recap and think about what we've done. So in this exercise, you were instructed to create a dish and something to eat out of it. After you were given the time to create your dish, you were asked to swap them round with the other team. And then you had a chance of discussing within your own team what the different design features were between the dishes that you made and the ones you swapped for. And finally then you had the chance of asking questions so that you could try and guess what the task of the other team was. You were given an unknown object with a hidden meaning, and you analysed it to find out who it was made for and what the story behind it was. You did this through observation and you did this through asking questions, and this allowed you to start a conversation where you gained a lot of information on the object. And all of this information you wouldn't have been able to know hadn't you asked the questions in the first place. So this is precisely something that is done a lot in arts subjects. It's a way of connecting with people's stories and trying to understand what they mean, where they come from, and essentially who the people that you're studying are. So something really freeing about the arts is the things you can make out of these stories. Some people, for example, will write an anthropology book or an article about these stories, or other people will write a poem or a novel. There's others that will make a film or a documentary, others will paint a picture, and as you can see, there's many ways of expression in the arts. But what's important to remember is what unites them all, and that is that they all start with analysis and a desire to understand the world. This must be done before we can express back what we think the world means, and is something that's key to art subjects. The skill of analysis is also very valuable in the professional world. Having the ability to understand and to analyse is extremely useful in the workplace, and it's definitely also very desired in the modern world. This is because it really develops your ability to critically think and to problem solve, also your ability to construct an argument and to discuss and work in groups. Today, all of you have exercised these skills, and anyone who possesses these skills is an extremely employable person. Also, another main takeaway I would like for today's session is that all art subjects can give you all of these abilities. I hope you have enjoyed today's activity, and I hope you now have a better understanding of how a degree in the arts can make you a successful and employable person. I also hope you had fun. Thank you very much for taking part. It's been a pleasure.